Hey guys, Juan Morales here, and before we get started on this, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me okay and that you can see my screen. So if you could type something in the chat box, I'd really appreciate that. Hello? Okay, thanks guys. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so let's begin today. This is the Advanced Conversion Strategies webinar, and this is something that I think that you guys are going to enjoy quite a bit. So first of all, welcome, and I'd like to thank you for putting your trust in me and for purchasing Epicsqueeze, which you did already, and this is a conversion strategies webinar that we're aiming towards Epicsqueeze owners, and this has been an excellent moment in our history because not only did Epic get that second JV Zoo of the day, which means that a lot of people actually enjoy the product and they keep referring more people to it, but the fact is, you guys already have in your hands a very powerful tool, but it's just a piece of the puzzle. And what I wanted to go over here was many other things that you need to also consider to really leverage your way into the level of success that you're looking for. Okay, the content I'm about to share with you are the findings of over $10,000 invested into traffic that I personally did, testing on different niches and different traffic sources to see how all these things are going on. Okay, and I've found these methods that I'm going to share with you to be super powerful in boosting your opt-in rates as well as your conversions. Okay, let me ask you guys something. Is true or false? Having the quote-unquote right wording in your squeeze page can get you more sales. Is it true or false? I want to see some answers in the chat box. Okay. Okay, guys. Well, the reality is, for the most part, it's wrong. Because let me just explain this for a second, and this is what I want to get you through right now. When you have the right wording, and this was like a fallacy that I went through for a long time because I was just basically thinking that if I just put in the right words, I was looking at the wrong number, basically. I was looking at the opt-in rate and trying to get as many leads as I possibly could, but I wasn't really realizing that the words actually also have an effect on the kind of leads that you're actually getting. So you may have more opt-ins, but what ends up happening is that you are turning away the buyers from your funnel. So that doesn't help your conversions. It helps in the sense that you have more leads, but it doesn't help your conversions. Let me ask you another one. Is opt-in rate really the best metric to look at for your business? True or false? Okay, excellent. And you know what, guys? It's false. You see, most of us have focused on this number, and I actually did it for a long time as well, trying to tell people how all these things where you would be getting 50% opt-in rates and all these opt-in rates and talking about opt-in rates. But the fact is, opt-in rate isn't really the metric that we should be looking for. What we should be looking for is dollars per subscriber from your relationship. Because once you start looking at that metric, what you realize is that it's all about creating that value from the subscriber that just got into your system, okay? And because you are looking at the wrong one, if you're actually looking at just the opt-in rate, where you're not realizing is that you may be getting a lot of leads, but those leads don't go anywhere. Those leads don't buy anything, and those leads really don't make you any money, okay? Finally, this is a question, okay? Is it possible to make a full-time income with a small list? Okay, exactly. It is possible, okay? It all depends on the lead source, okay? But as long as you have a powerful way to connect with their need, you are able to make a full-time income from a small list, okay? That is actually what we're going to be discussing today. And on this webinar, you are going to discover how to find more of the right kind of leads for your business, okay? How to set yourself apart in an already crowded marketplace, how to get more money per subscriber, and how to outperform most other marketers out there, okay? Now, here's my promise, okay? My promise to you guys is this. You must stay with me to the very end, and I'm going to give you some of the most powerful content you've seen yet in 2013. And I know that's a tall order, but it's true, okay? Then, I hope this excites you so much that you'll decide to invest in what I have to offer at the end. And if that's the case, there is some very, very special stuff for early action takers. And if I don't manage to impress you, you don't need to feel obligated to buy anything, okay? But I want to share with you something that's really, really powerful, and I think that I've already come up with a good strategy to do this. Does this sound fair to you guys? Okay, excellent, guys, excellent. Okay, so why should you listen to me? Okay, 2 years ago, I was actually an unemployed software developer, and I tried my hand at SEO for the longest time. And when I first started getting into the online world, that was the logical thing to do is like you want to get to the top of the Google search results and do all these things. And what happened to me was I got slapped eventually, and my business went from whatever it was at that point. I think I was doing around $600 to $700 a day, went down to zero, from one day to the next. And eventually, I stumbled upon list building, and I just started to tweak and get better at everything I was doing. Epic was actually the product that I used myself. At first I kept it like the quote-unquote best-kept secret. I was using it myself and testing everything to see how I could get more people to convert and how I could build those lists and do everything else. And to this point, I have built lists of over 200,000 leads across several niches, okay? In total, I believe I already have about 500,000 leads, okay? I tested and tweaked campaigns focusing on metrics, but I was actually looking at the wrong metrics for the longest time. I was thinking, volume of leads was the most important thing, so I just wanted to get as many of the leads as I possibly could. But in reality, the focus should be on sales, because if you are actually looking at the dollars per subscriber that I just mentioned a little while ago, what's going to happen is you are going to become a part of you'll be looking at the game a lot differently, okay? You'll be looking for how to get more buyers in here, okay? So here's the formula. And if there's anything that you can take from this that you can, drill into your head, and I want you to remember about this, is that C&T drive sales. Connection and trust drive sales, okay? Everything else that you hear, whether it's hype, whether it's, whatever else that you hear, it's not as powerful as connection and trust, especially in today's saturated market. I mean, there used to be a time back in the day where people would brag about getting, 200 to 300 emails per day, right? That's no longer the case. Everybody and their brother is getting, all these emails coming in from marketers, especially if you buy any products, especially if you do anything, you're going to get hit constantly with people trying to market stuff to you. And if that's happening to you, you can only assume that it's also happening to other people. And what you need to do is really create a strategy so you can actually stand out and make something that's worthwhile and that really resonates with your leads, so that they want to buy from you and they want to trust you, so that whatever you actually recommend to them actually helps them, fix their problems. And here's the real problem that many of us face in the business, is that we focus on the wrong metrics. And sometimes our business model itself is flawed. Okay, it may be that we're doing stuff like just hitting them that one time and trying to get sales on that sales page just the first time. There's no follow-up. I mean, you wouldn't believe the kind of stuff that I've seen from the actual Epic Squeeze users who contact me, who are looking to learn more stuff and everything else. In fact, I mean, from what I've seen, and clearly, I mean, there are only three approaches to doing business online. The first is to promote your own products. The second is to promote other people's products. And the third one is a hybrid strategy where you're sort of mixing and matching depending on your customers' needs. And they all work. But it's just a matter of using the right strategy. Okay? Now, when I first started, I was doing the basic format, squeeze page to sales page, and I saw very little conversions. At one point, I didn't even think there were buyers out there, okay? And I keep, like, all the things that I'm telling you guys about in this scenario are about solo traffic, okay, which I was purchasing, and you guys may know me already. I'm a pretty big solo in the solo community, and I was buying traffic all the time, and I was seeing very little conversions from sales page, right? But what I decided to do was actually split test my sales page, just having this one squeeze page with a sales page and a minimal follow-up sequence. And I realized that instead of just hitting them again and again and again with more reasons to buy, the first thing I did was I sent them out an email, okay, which was an expectations email, and then I got them to buy. And the expectations were all about, I'm focusing on your problem. I want to help you guys, and it's all about this. And basically, when I did that, just injecting that small email into the beginning of my follow-up sequence, I increased engagement enough that I easily doubled my sales, okay? And what I found out afterwards as well, and it's all part of the process, okay, guys? It's all part of just rocking and rolling with the motions. Differentiating yourself in the market is all about delivering value. And when you think about it, you have to think of your consumers in the same way that you behave, okay? When you're actually going into your email nowadays, there's so many emails coming in that you look for the ones that usually come from people who deliver something that you want to look at, okay? So all the rest is just noise. And, an unopened email is just a dead lead, basically, okay? That guy is not going to buy whatever it is that you're trying to sell them or whatever it is that you're trying to promote with that email. So the best way to actually do this is to deliver value, because by having a mix that has value as well as promotions, you are going to achieve a better conversion rate when it comes to sales. So I created a conversion strategy for my leads by first thinking about their core needs, okay? Focusing on aligning the perceived value of my products or my promotion with their needs. And for the most part, people aren't doing this properly. And I always revert to thinking about it this way, okay? If someone has a problem, okay, you need to dig deep into what their problem is. You need to go past that first layer of things that everybody sort of knows that happens, and you need to get deeper than that, and you really need to figure out what keeps them up at night. That's my favorite question for this. What keeps them up at night? And once you start to think about the things that keep them up at night, and I encourage you to go into forums and that kind of stuff to look for, where your niche is basically hanging out, and look at the language that they use. Look at how they refer to their things, because as we have done with, for example, opt-in rate and all these like list building terms, there are also terms that your niche is using to like buyer terminology and like need terminology, where they're actually telling you, that they feel that, they can't, let's say that what keeps them up at night is the fact that, and if it's all in the make money niche, is that they won't be able to make that mortgage payment, or that, the power is going to get cut off or something like that. And that's when you start looking at what happens underneath, okay? And whatever happens, however you want to structure your strategy, basically it is fundamental for you to identify these core emotional drivers so that everything else can roll off that, okay? But by focusing on aligning the perceived value with their needs, and again, the whole idea of aligning the perceived value is that something is valuable, especially information, is only valuable in the right hands, okay? It's only valuable to the people who believe that it is valuable. That's why perception is reality, as Frank Kern likes to call it, okay? Perception is how that person actually feels about the content that you're actually delivering them, okay? And what this allowed me to do was convert leads a lot better than the market average, just because I figured out that there were these underlying core needs that I needed to feed into, that I needed to use value to sort of bring and flourish so that the trust would start to build, okay? And what this did was that not only did it create a lot more buyers, but it created a lot more repeat buyers as well, because it turns out that it's all a part of the same structure and message. And all you need to do is really focus on what the core needs are, and then figure out what the best solution to those problems really is. In other words, Don't just settle for minimal interaction. Many people, and I've seen this across the board, usually, when I ask people, like, how long is their follow-up sequence, I mean, I'll be amazed if someone tells me that they'll do more than 20 or 30 emails at all. Okay, most people only have like 2 or 3 emails in their follow-up sequence, and they believe that if someone didn't buy within the 2 or 3 emails, it didn't really work for them. Okay, so the second part of this is ABC, as Alec Baldwin said famously in Glengarry Glen Ross, the classic movie. A, always be, B, C, closing. Okay, always be closing. You're always trying to sell. But the thing is, you don't need to be selling in pitch mode every time. But what you're doing is that when you're not selling in sort of, quote unquote pitch mode, what you're doing is you're actually delivering value, because this allows you to get taken seriously. Okay, if you're just this run-of-the-mill pitch person that just keeps pitching and pitching and pitching, no one's going to buy. Because, I mean, you may have people who buy, but these are the hyper-responsive customers, and we'll get into that in a second. But these are the hyper-responsive customers who are really willing to buy anything, okay, as long as it promises to fill their needs, okay? So you need to deliver value. Now, if you know that by delivering value, you can set yourself apart, isn't it wonderful that you can actually create a strategy that works for your niche, whatever it is, whether it's BizOp, whether it's fitness, whether it's weight loss, information in general, okay? By using a strategy, okay, you can target your leads in a unique way. And unique is a key operating word here, because many people, especially people who belong to like systems and like, Empower and Big Idea and all these others, for the most part, they like to use stock follow-up sequences. But the fact is, if you use the stock follow-up sequences, you're going to get lower conversions regardless, because other people have copied that as well. They've probably, gotten at least a portion of those leads before you, and those leads may have already been exposed to the offer. And unless you're doing it in a unique way where they actually feel that there's a value into listening to your messages, you're not really going to be able to convert them. Okay? And once you actually find the proper conversion formula, it just becomes a matter of driving traffic. I mean, that's the promised land. That's where we want to get. We want to get to this point where we actually created something that all you need to do is add traffic and conversions just start happening, because the system is so well thought out and well designed that it allows you to do all these things and to do it really, really well. Okay? Now, how can you increase your sales? Okay? The first step is to actually find the right leads. And it's amazing that I had to put this in here, but the reason I wanted to put it in here is because I get contacted all the time from people who are not, fishing in the right ponds. They're trying to sell something to someone who is not ready to buy, or who is not even interested or remotely interested in buying something, to solve a set issue, okay? But once you find the right leads and once you understand who your prospect is, you need to get into those core emotional issues that they're going through. Once again, it's about digging deep into emotional territory. Emotion is where sales actually happen, okay? As Russell Granger says in his great book, 7 Triggers to Yes, people buy based on emotion and then they justify it with logic. And that's the reality, folks. If you want to make sales, that's how you have to do. You have to dig into emotional territory, okay? So you need to find those emotional issues that they're going through, because that way you'll be able to not only identify them better, but also when you've identified them already, you'll be able to treat them better, which means that the relationship will last longer, which in turn means that it will be more profitable for you. Whether you don't make that first sale, I mean, they could be buying stuff down the line. I myself have leads that are buying stuff from me, and these leads came in 3 months ago. Okay, and they're still buying stuff from me regularly. Why? Because I figured out that if you get into those core emotional issues and you dig deep into them and you try to figure out ways to help them solve it, there may be certain things, okay? I clearly remember in one of the information products that I had, some people were complaining that they couldn't go to sleep at night. I mean, it was that they were super stressed out and they couldn't go to sleep. So, I went on Google, I started looking for stuff, because this happened to me as well a couple of years ago. And I remembered that what I did that helped me sleep a lot easier was that right before going to bed, I would grab a notepad and I would just do a to-do list of the stuff I needed to sort of handle the next day. And what this did was sort of do a brain dump So I didn't have that information, or I didn't have the need to have that information in the forefront when I was thinking of, going to sleep. And basically that would help me out. And what do you guys think happened? The first thing that I did was I contacted them and I told them, listen, you should do this, and this is a great tip for you guys and everything else. And what happened was that they believed from that point on that I was able to deliver to them always quality information and tips that would help them with their specific problem. Because if someone actually implements anything that you said, there's value in it, okay? You put it in the hands of the right person and there's value in it. So it all comes down to psychology and value. And online, especially because we deal in information, okay, for the most part. And of course, there's ways that you can do this with, physical products as well. But for the most part, we are in the information industry, which means that we either create what they need, or we can find someone else who either did it and can sell it as a PLR so that we can brand it ourselves, or we can find someone else who did it and they are willing to give us affiliate commissions if we actually promote their product. But it actually comes down to the psychology, because if you know that someone actually desperately needs something, the chances that they buy it are a lot higher than if they're, just nothing, they just, they're sort of immune to it, okay? Finding the right leads actually starts with perceived value, okay? Those who will benefit the most perceive that value the highest. Now, it is your job as a marketer that if they're not perceiving the value where they should be, you are the one that has to make that argument for them so they actually perceive that value to be even higher. And when you think about it, it works in the same way, and I always revert to this example, which I like to use all the time, but there's a book by Dan Kennedy where he actually talks about a customer of his who were selling, $25,000 to $30,000 mattresses. And, when I read that, and it was like at the bottom of a page, right? So when I read that, I thought, who the hell buys a $25,000 to $30,000 mattress, right? And the first thing that came into my head is like, if you put this store at a mall and you're trying to sell $30,000 mattresses, no one is going to buy. And then when I turned the page, turns out that on the other side, he was saying that this guy was actually marketing to chiropractic patients, okay? And then, it hit me. And that's why I wanted to inject this story right here. It hit me. Okay, my first thought was, of course, no one's going to buy that at the mall. But what happens when, if you haven't been able to sleep for the past 6 months and someone comes to you and tells you, listen, this thing's going to be $30,000, but I guarantee you're going to be able to sleep tonight, and I have a payment plan and whatnot. I mean, these people will definitely jump in. Okay, that's what it's really about. Okay, it's about finding those who will benefit the most, because more distress is more reason to act. If the pain is really something that doesn't let them breathe, okay, they are struggling and they need to find a solution to that problem, okay? And finally, what you have to always consider is that the squeeze page, which you guys already have Epicsqueeze, which allows you to create very high converting squeeze pages, but it's only the entry point. There's all this other stuff that you need to be taking care of in the back on how you actually convert them. And it's not just about creating a sales page or a sales video, where a lot of people focus what they do. It's about creating an overarching strategy that actually allows you to, set up a squeeze page, and then with a follow-up campaign, you can take them on a ride to many different sales pages, some of which you can outsource if you don't want to write them yourself, or if you want to write them yourself, you can also do that, or if you want to do video, you can also do that. But it's about creating a strategy, okay? Let me go into buying behavior demystified a little bit, okay? Online buying behavior has changed considerably. And I covered this a little while ago. It's easy to scale up business in the sense that marketers, as you get more leads, the job is the same. The work that you have to put into it is the same, which means that because it's easy to scale the business, you are really competing in a crowded marketplace. I mean, look at your inboxes right now. If you look at your inboxes, I guarantee you guys are getting tons of emails every day. Let me ask you guys something, because I want to see some interaction coming in on this. How many emails do you guys get per day that are like marketing type emails? Okay, 100 plus, loads. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like crazy, and there's so much noise happening. 75, that's insane. Over 100. I mean, it's insane that we all get all these emails, And most of them we ignore, am I correct? I mean, we ignore them and we pay no attention to a lot of them, except when they come from someone that we actually like or trust or we have learned from. And then we're like, okay, let's see what this guy sent me, right? So building that relationship, building that trust is fundamental to increasing your conversion numbers. If you don't have that relationship, okay, what's going to happen is you're going to be what's going to happen is you are just going to start creating, and promoting stuff and promoting stuff, and no one's really going to pay attention to what you're saying. And that's the biggest issue that a lot of people face, because they never created that relationship, okay? Finally, when we ask prospects to buy, we're actually asking them to trust us. And we use all the mechanisms to promote stuff and offer stuff, such as guarantees, price drops, and scarcity, and whatever else, because, again, it's all based on trust. So if there's no trust, you're only going to get those people who will buy blindly, okay? And that's exactly the phenomenon that happens if you just have like a squeeze page that points to a sales page. You will convert people, but those are usually people who are, dying for a solution to the problem. And that means that you're sort of ignoring a huge percentage of the market that you could also tap into, because they have the problem, but they just don't trust you, so they're not going to buy from you, okay? Now, I want to show you some numbers here so you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? I started doing some tests, and the first test that I did, I actually had an Epic Squeeze page, okay, and a paid offer in the back. And I kept the paid offer the same throughout all the tests, okay? The paid offer in the back was a $7 product, and it was converting very poorly. At first, I was going to throw that sales page out altogether, but then I decided to do this test, okay? The first thing I did was, when I just put it as an Epic Squeeze to the paid offer, I was getting a 49% opt-in rate, and I was only getting 1.3% sales, which is, dismal. But again, when you're dealing with the solo world, the numbers aren't going to be like huge conversions, okay? Next, when I implemented what I call the ISPS method, which we're going to cover right now, in a couple of slides. When I added the ISPS method to this, I kept the paid offer the same. I kept the background the same on Epic and everything else. The opt-in rate went down a little bit to 47.3%, but then the sales rate more than doubled. At that point, I was like, what? There's no way this happened, okay? So I tested it again and again and again and again, and I kept on seeing more sales, and I was like, what the hell? It's the same paid offer. So the next thing I did was like, okay, so now that I have this like better concept of how to get the right kind of leads coming in, okay? Then I did the 7-day follow-up sequence using a structure to try to get more conversions coming in and focusing on value and focusing on these things. And what happened was I was able to bump that sales rate up even a whole point, okay? Which blew me away, because when you're thinking about this kind of stuff, it's just crazy that, small tweaks can make such large changes. And finally, okay, when I doubled the size of the follow-up to include more value at the beginning, okay, doing a sort of a, expectations and value, then promotion, then value, then promotion, then value, okay, so I would spread it out to 14 days. I actually, okay, I'm getting some feedback from people saying that they can't see the screen right now. Can you guys confirm that if you can see it? Okay. Oh, okay, Jesse. I don't know. I don't know why you're not seeing it. Other people are reporting that they can see it properly. Maybe you want to hop out and hop back in. Maybe that'll fix the issue. You should be getting a full, like a full slide right now. Okay. So basically, I was able to, in turn, and when I was doing the math a little while ago, let me just try to open the calculator here really quickly, because unfortunately, I am not as good at math right now as I was before. So if I do this, okay, basically I quadrupled my sales by injecting these things, okay, on a $7 product, which is awesome. And what I, but the biggest change was the fact that because I did these small tweaks, I was able to get a lot more people to convert and a lot more people to convert. And it was just crazy. Okay, it was just crazy that I was able to achieve this. Okay, so by applying this formula, I doubled my sales in 1 month. I was able to find hyper-responsive customers in several niches. And the hyper-responsive customers are the best sort of customers that you can actually hope for. Because when you think about the responsiveness that a customer has, especially when they're looking for a solution to their problem, is that if you are using the proper wording and if you are actually targeting the right kind of people, these kind of people will buy more stuff, and they will not only buy that first time, but they will keep buying and buying and buying. Okay? And I was actually able to target them a lot better because I was doing what we talked about before. Okay? We are able to align the value that we're delivering with their needs. Okay? This is the HVA method. You are aligning that value with their needs, and if you're aligning that value with their needs, what's going to happen is they're going to feel that that's the actually right solution for them. Okay, and this is a clear path to success. If you're able to get the right customers, those who will benefit the actual most from, your product, those are the people who will not only buy that first time, but they will keep on buying if you know what you're doing and you're able to establish a relationship with them so that they're actually looking for your stuff. Okay, that's the reality of this. And of course, I can do this because I'm a superhero, right? Like I'm awesome. I've been developing stuff for a long time. That's crap. Okay, that's not true at all. Anyone, can do this. But what it does take is a little bit of ambition, a bit of focus, a good amount of desire, and that's it. All you need to do is follow these principles, and you'll be able to do exactly what I did. Okay? But one thing that you have to fight against is the fact that most people fear change. They don't want to implement stuff. And I remember one time, I actually had a webinar the other day when I was talking to one of my partners, and I was telling him that for the longest time, I struggled to put up a sales page, for example, for my solo business. And it took me a couple of hours, but because I was, putting it off and putting it off and putting it off, what ended up happening was I was leaving money on the table. So basically what I want you to do from this training that you're going to receive today is implement what I'm going to show you. Okay? And not only implement, but take advantage of everything that I'm going to show you. Okay? So everything starts with having the right formula. Okay, you can't really sell stuff to people who don't want it. You're going to waste time and effort, and you can see how many big companies, like huge multi-million and multi-billion dollar companies, spend a ton of time, money, and resources on trying to get people who don't buy their stuff and who don't want their stuff to buy their stuff, rather than to keep hitting the same people that have already purchased from them to turn them into a higher relationship. And when you think about it, okay, I read on a business article the other day that when you think about Coca-Cola, just purchasing one soda or one can will cost you, 50 cents, 75 cents, whatever it costs where you in your country. But the fact is, once you actually, buy that, they're not looking at the transaction per purchase. They're looking at the lifetime value of the customer, which is what you should be looking at as well. Is the fact that you may sell them that $7 thing, but then when you sell them another $7 thing later on, and when you sell them a higher ticket thing, and when you're doing, higher ticket stuff, that what ends up happening is that these guys, they want to buy this stuff. They already told you that they like it and they want to keep doing it. So you need to focus on them rather than trying to convert the unconvertible. And that's the path to failure. To try to get people who have absolutely no interest in what you're saying to try to get to buy your stuff. Okay? So what I developed from this, especially thinking about the core desire and how high it had to be to actually achieve the level of success, is that I developed something called the ISPS formula. And I'll share it with you in just a second. The ISPS formula is a formula to write headlines, okay? And it's a formula that has allowed me to not only get awesome conversions, but to get more sales. And it also gives me, the right kind of leads coming in. And that's what I wanted, okay? So ISPS are really, it's really an acronym which stands for Interrupt, Starting Point, Promised Land, and Smoothest Way, okay? So in Interrupt, the whole idea, okay, and I just want to mention that everything that we're trying to say about how you write the headlines is based on the rags to riches model. Okay, so basically it's a story of some person going from rags to riches, and basically you're trying to tell them that you're going to share that information with them. And I'll give you some tips so you can actually get this thing to convert like gangbusters. Okay, so the first thing was the interrupt. Now, the reason why the interrupt needs to be in there, it's usually the first word that you see, and it's something like, free is obviously the most powerful one. But the problem with free is that you get a lot of people who are freebie seekers if you use that word in there. But if you can use exclusive, revealed, breaking, top secret, whatever, warning, caution, these are words that we are psychologically triggered just from living in the outside world to pay attention to these things. And that's why even when you're looking at news, right, and the little breaking news ticker comes in at the bottom, what you read on the left is something that says breaking, because that's the pattern interrupt. I mean, when they want to call your attention, they just put that word in there because they know that even if you're just looking at the message, very you're not really paying too much attention to it, that will call your attention. It's just one of those keywords that does this. And what this does, as John Carlton calls it, is stop them in their tracks. Basically, what you want to do is, remember, these guys, as well as we do, they get all these emails. They're getting all these emails, and they're clicking on stuff, and they go to Squeeze Pages, and they see Squeeze Pages promoting all kinds of stuff all the time. But when you start by using these words, the first thing that happens is, boom, you caught their eye. As a matter of fact, you guys already have one of the most powerful tools on the planet, which is Epicsqueeze, which allows you to capture their interest with that background, okay? But I wanted to add this in here anyway because, I make all my Squeeze Pages with Epic, and because I start with an interrupt, now I noticed that there was a definite bump. I can't really tell you how much it was because the numbers sort of varied, and at some point I thought it was 7%, other times it was 3%, but it does work, okay? So always start your headlines like this. That first S in the formula is actually the starting point, okay? It's actually the rags part. It's the part of the story where it's like someone who is worse off than me, who is lacking something that I do have, whether it's smarts, whether it's skills, whether it's time, whether it's effort, whether it's passion or desire, actually did this and it worked for them, okay? So you make a point to create this starting point, and that's where you see all these like unemployed, slack. We'll actually get into the examples in just a second. But I just want to first outline the points for you so you actually get it, okay? So someone who is worse off than me actually did this. Then you get to the promised land. This is the big promise of your product or however it is that you can help them, okay? Whether it's making money, whether it's, losing weight, whether it's achieving more success, whether it's picking up women. I mean, sky's the limit with what you can do with the promises, and you guys already know that in the world of internet marketing, a lot goes into hyping stuff, right? So the whole idea of the ISPS formula is to basically make it about a story of someone who went from rags to riches using your system, method, product, or whatever it is that you can sell to them, right? Finally, the S, the second S stands for the smoothest way, okay? And many people can promise this, the same thing, okay? Many people can tell you that you're going to be making, $100 a day, okay? But the idea in the ISPS formula is to differentiate yourself from that by outlining that your method and your product and whatever it is that you're going to show them is actually the easiest, best, and fastest way to actually achieving this. Okay, so that's the ISPS formula in a nutshell. Okay, the interrupt, the starting point, the promise, the promised land, and then the smoothest way. Are you guys with me so far? Are you liking what you're hearing? Excellent, guys. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about some conversion boosters, because everybody here came to figure out how to get more conversions, right? So here are some of the conversion boosters that you should add into your headlines right now, because this will make a difference in your business, okay? The first is to use exact numbers. Exact numbers have been proven time and time again to convert better than, like a rounded up number, like $100 versus 101.62. There's a big difference between the two of them. I've actually tested out those different numbers and found that if you end up with something that ends in 1, like it's 51 or 31 or something like that, the number sounds even more like sounds even less made up. Okay, so if you can do that into your business, inject it as well. Okay. The second thing I like to do as well, and this is what I actually do nowadays, is I, instead of using an exact number, because many people use that, is I say that it's a range of numbers. And let me explain to you the psychology behind the range of numbers. The psychology is the following. The range implies that there's a variance. Implies that not only did you do it once and achieve that $100 day, but that consistently you're doing within a certain range of numbers. So whether it's $700 to $1,000 or $500 to $1,000 a day or something, you're moving within that range, which means that there may be some days that you make less and some days that you make more. This elevates the trust, and this obviously elevates the conversions as well, because people find it as though it's more real. Okay, it's more plausible to actually achieve this. The third thing I want to add to this is what's called anchoring to a time frame. And a lot of people never do this, and I don't understand why they don't do it, but I wanted to share with you why I believe it's so powerful to do this. Okay, if you can tell someone that they're going to make $100,000, but it's going to happen 3 years down the line, okay, or there's no time frame to them, you're actually opening it up so that they can doubt themselves, or they can keep thinking of what they want to do or whatever else they want to come up with. But if you tell them that it's going to be within 30 days, the offer just became super appealing. Okay? And again, guys, this is all about focusing on what you can really do, not about, hyping stuff up just to hype stuff up. But it's all about anchoring it to a time frame. If you're able to do that, it's like, think about this. If I were able to tell you about a program to lose weight, okay? If I could tell you that you would lose 22 pounds, that would have a certain, feel to it, just that you're losing 22 pounds. But when you add that time frame, which means that you're losing 22 pounds in the next 30 days, then all of a sudden the offer becomes a lot more powerful. And that's why you need to anchor it to a time frame as well. And finally, you need to be focusing on the results. I mean, people don't waste time trying to come up with elaborate headlines and stuff. And I got to be honest, you have no idea the kind of stuff that I've seen just from other customers that come in and show me different things, and I usually try to tell them, listen, I think that headline itself is not going to convert really well. As a matter of fact, with some of my private coaching students, what I do is we actually go through them, and at certain points I just have to tell them, listen, what is the big promise? I mean, what's the result that these guys are looking for? Don't go and make it about something super blind that they have no idea what it's about, because you will probably get opt-ins, but the problem is those people won't convert at all. Okay, because they're coming in for a premise that you'll never able to fulfill. So you have to be focusing on the results, and that's why it's so important to do it this way. Now, these two formulas that I want to share with you are formulas that I've seen people do them, but I have never seen the explanations for them, and I wanted to share them with you so that you guys get a good feel of what this is about. Yesterday, I sent out an email that I hope you got. It was my Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, by the way, guys. It was my the humanizing of your pages. As soon as I added that to my page, I was able to get a 9% bump in traffic, okay? A 9% bump in conversions just because I added a picture of someone into the headline. Okay, and if you use a testimonial, it works even better for two reasons. If you put it up in front of people, okay, and you grab a picture from the testimonials that you have in the back, it's going to give you consistency. And when people are scrolling to your sales page, what they're going to find is as soon as they see that same picture, remember guys, it's hard for us to remember everything that we read or everything that we do, but a face is easy to recognize, especially if it's a noticeable picture, right? So if you put it in the front end, if you put it on the squeeze page, and then in the back you see that same picture, all of a sudden, the guy's going to be like, oh, so this guy actually delivered on his promise, because here's the part of the testimonial that I had to pay attention to. So it turns out that there's consistency in the message, which raises the trust level, okay? And I'll show you an example of that in just a second. The other formula that I wanted to share with you guys is what's called the takeaway formula. Okay, let me just ask you guys something, because I want to see some interaction happening on the chat box here. Are you guys liking and finding value in what I'm sharing with you already? Awesome. A lot of yeses coming in. Awesome. That's great to hear, guys. Okay, so you add the picture, you humanize the page. People enjoy it. People get more and more stuff because what's going to happen is they're going to see the value in just seeing that there allows you to create an additional argument. And when you use let me go a little bit deeper into the part about the testimonial. When you make the testimonial about how powerful or how they feel when they get it, rather than what they actually get. Okay, it's about how they feel when they get it, the emotional part of the testimonial. It's that thing that Cialdini calls in his Persuasion and Influence book. He calls it that split second where you look around. Like, let's imagine that we're all standing in this room, right? And then some guy comes in and he slips. He slips and falls like flat on his head, and everybody, for a second before people start bursting into laughing, okay, you start looking at people and they're looking around to see if it's okay to laugh, okay? That's what injecting an emotional testimonial to your squeeze page actually does, because it gets them pumped up about what they're about to see even more, okay? Which in turn allows you to get more conversions, okay? So that's what the humanization part of the process is about. The second formula that I wanted to share with you is what I call the takeaway. The takeaway works like this. Let's say, for example, that you are, promoting a make money product or something that's in the biz op niche or in the internet marketing field, right? What if I told you, okay, let's say, for example, that I can tell you there's a method I have where you can make $1,000 a day with just spending 30 minutes of time, and I just leave it there, okay? Your mind is immediately going to start to try to figure out how it's done. In the same way that when you're sitting down like in a magician show, you start trying to figure out how they're doing those amazing things that you end up not figuring out how they do. Or if you're like me, you never get it, okay? So, but here's the thing. Your mind automatically shifts into trying to solve mode. So they're coming up with strategies like, oh, of course, but they're going to ask me to make 1,000 websites. Or, oh, of course, but they're going to ask me to spend $10,000 on traffic. Or, oh, of course, they're going to tell me to do this or that or create products or do all these things. But what about if I inject just at the end of that, first premise that I told you, how you can make $1,000 a day spending 30 minutes a day in front of your computer, and I tell you that it's without the first three things that came into your head. And let's say that the first three things that came into your head were websites, visitors, and products, or websites, traffic, or products, okay? What if I told you just those three things? Those are the first three things that come into your head. If they come into your head, you better believe that they're coming into your prospect's head as well. And if you're able to take them out, the curiosity level just increased exponentially. As a matter of fact, I actually saw an 11-point boost when injecting this into my headlines, okay? Let me just show you an example. This is my actual capture page that I'm using right now, okay? As you can see here, I'm doing the ISPS model with the takeaway and everything in it, okay? So first thing that you see is breaking, okay? And as you can see it's in red. Obviously, this is an Epic Squeeze page. You see the first thing in all caps, okay, the interrupt, breaking. Then you use quotes. As you can see there, I'm not even closing the quotes. For some reason, and this has been proven, and this comes from the direct marketing days, when people read something that starts with quotes, they are figuring that this is coming from somewhere else. Okay, so they should pay attention. It's crazy, but it's true, and it works, and I hope that you guys use it as well. And basically, I started from the starting point. What's the starting point? Unemployed, dropout, slacker. Then it's about the promise, which is makes $700 to $1,000 to $1,500 a day online. And think about this. I'm using the range, and I'm also anchoring it to a time frame. Okay, I'm using the range and the time frame. The thing with the range is that you guys are gonna, whoever comes into this page as a prospect, what they see is a variance, and they're like, okay, so this method, some days works better than others. That's interesting. It's different from the guys who are telling me that I'm gonna be making $600 a day. Exactly, Mike. It's no exact amount. It's about the range, so that they always feel that there's more reality to it. Okay. Then I switch into the takeaway. Because what you realize right there is that if I tell you just if you read just to online, just to here, the first things that come into your head is like, of course, but I'm going to need a product, right? Or of course, I'm going to need a website, right? Or of course, I'm going to need traffic, or I should already have a list to be able to make this amount of money. But when I take it out, and as you can see right there, I'm underlining the word without, because I'm stressing that point, but at the same time, I'm basically taking away all their ideas. So now they're like, okay, so how does this work? And on top of that, I'm actually digging in deeper and telling them that absolutely anybody can do this, okay? So that they never sort of discard themselves from the idea. They never consider, because think about it, that the number one fear that most people have is that they will be, I mean, obviously other than death and all those things, but the number one fear that people have when coming into something like this is that it won't be for them, that it will be too complicated. Okay, think about it. Most people, you know, if you get into all these like technical terms and you just go crazy with all these things, most people it'll just go past their head. So you want to make it so that it's drop dead simple. Okay, and you know, by using absolutely anybody can use this or can do this, it was an awesome part of the program. Now, the next thing that I did was I actually injected this box that you see right here, which is a box that's created, first of all, showing a picture of a person, okay? And this person is basically, and obviously, you know, this actually, I developed it as a small thing into Epic that I created on my own pages that actually rotates the images. So I have many images at once, but the idea is the following. You have this picture right here of a guy, and look at, like, he's laid back, all these things, okay? This is a testimonial that's on the sales page itself. And I just grabbed a little part of the testimonial, okay? Not the how much money I made and how easy it is and all that. Okay, oh, sorry. I just did, this system changed my life. Okay, I put in the name and I put in the city and the province. This is in Canada. Okay, I put in the name and I put in the city and province. And what do you think happened? Of course, more people started converting because these people see these images and automatically they're like, okay, so this is like, I'm not the first person here. Okay, this is basically, you know, diminishing that whole effect that people get when they're actually looking at something like this and they're like, yeah, but who else is using this? Like, am I the first person? I mean, are more people involved in this? So because you're putting it up front, all of a sudden people, you know, like what they're doing. And of course, I encourage you guys, if you can come up with different strategies as well, to test these things out. I mean, you can literally do this in like Photoshop or, you know, GIMP or any of the image manipulation programs, or you can actually have a designer make one for you by just sending them like a small screenshot so they create something cool. And if you go into WordPress, into your Epicsqueeze thing, you can actually just insert the image there by using, you know, a little bit of HTML. It's not very complicated to do. And what this is going to allow you is to really, you know, get more conversions. Okay, so let me go back and show you some examples. Okay, this, you know, I put this example in before I actually put my actual sales page, my squeeze page in there. And as you can see here, I mean, this squeeze page looks fantastic. Many people here use the infinity pool model and all that stuff because that's you know, and especially in this scenario, that's the dream. Okay, that's the attention grabber. I mean, people go to this slide and they come to this page and they see that background and they're like, wow. And then, you know, next thing is like you read that someone else, you know, as a third party or whatever you want to call it, is actually saying that the system changed their life. So it's a very powerful message, and it's a very, very powerful mechanism to deliver that message. Then, okay, this is the example. This is the same thing, and on that page, I'm getting a 53% conversion rate right now. Okay. This is another one that I used before, and this one actually got me a higher conversion rate, but I was testing out different things. Okay, in this one, it's X, you know, revealed. That's how you started. Okay, revealed, the interrupt. Then X forklift driver figures out how to make over $600 a day online in 30 days with no products and no affiliates. And then all you need is internet access. I want to share with you guys another tip that I didn't put into the slides, but it's the fact that you can use the parentheses, like the brackets, right? You can use those to stress something, and, you know, in your head, when you read something like this, for some reason, I don't know if it's just me. Is it just me that when I read something and then I see something in brackets, I sort of change the way it's said in my mind? Does that happen to you guys as well? Yeah, exactly. It's just part of the whole psychology that goes into this, right? So what you guys are seeing is the fact that all you need is internet access. Then it just becomes really clear to them that they should, you know, be involved in this, because now it's like, okay, this is a very simple system and whatnot. Okay. Okay, so let me ask you a couple of questions, guys. What's wrong with these headlines that you see here? And I'll be honest with you, okay? These headlines are from squeeze pages that I've actually, that people have come to buy traffic from me for, and I just made like a swipe file of the horrible headlines. But I want to ask you, and I want you to write on the chat box, okay, Mike hits it right away. Preteens, no money. Exactly. It's like, why, targeting the wrong people, that's not going to happen. Okay. What else, guys? How about the second one? How to make your own products. Is that really a compelling argument? I absolutely don't think so. When people are looking for the benefits, they're not looking for more stuff to do. They're looking for results. It's complicated. Exactly, Nick. And, more and more you see people trying to come up with, these headlines that are really, really weak. Okay. They're not, making your own products, really. I mean, obviously there are simple ways to do it, but for the most part, the kind of leads that we're looking for aren't really looking to do more work. They're actually looking for a system that can actually help them, get their business going. And they don't care about how they do it, but making a product is not the benefit. Okay, making a product is like the method to actually achieving the success. Okay, the surefire way to making money online. What do you guys think that the issue is with that one? Exactly, guys. No specifics. No specifics. Making money online, really, how much money am I going to make? $10 in 3 years? Is that it? Am I going to make 50 cents? What's it going to be? There's no time frame anchoring. There's no specific number. There's no variance. There's nothing. It's just the surefire way to making money online. Really, that doesn't compel anybody. And the fact is, as soon as when I first talked to the owners of these pages, I actually, asked them to tweak these a little bit, and they tweaked it, and obviously it converted a lot better than they had been doing. Because here's the thing, folks, and for the most part, people don't even know the percentages that they should be converting at. And again, because most people are hesitant to change anything because they don't want to screw it up, what happens is they just keep it the way it is, and I had a customer once tell me that he was happy because it was converting at 15%. And I was like, man, you're totally missing the ball here. Like, you should not be focusing on that at all that way. You should be aiming for, 40%, 45%, 50% conversions. And within those, then you can actually start testing new things to see what you can actually get to improve. Okay? Now, let me ask you guys this. These are like awesome headlines, in my opinion. Okay? What do you guys find that's right about these ones? Okay, let's look at the first one. Okay, one weird trick to increase your sales by 50% or more in the next 7 days without taking up more time. Come on, guys, I want to see some interaction here. I want to see that you guys are paying attention. Well, as you guys can see here, what happens is, first of all, the weird trick is something that you guys have probably seen on ads that show up on websites and stuff. The one weird trick. Yeah, exactly, John. This is time specific. It's time specific. I also added the weird trick because weird is exactly. Sounds easy, time specific, interesting. Nick, you hit it right in the money. Okay? That's what it's about. It's like you make it interesting, you add weird, for example, because now they're like, what? And that weird trick formula, if you guys haven't seen it, that's I don't know if you guys seen the six-pack abs and all that, all that advertising that comes up, that it's like this one weird trick, one weird something. I actually wrote an article a couple of months back about the one weird trick start to a headline, okay? So let's go into the second one. How to make more money in the next 30 days without spending any more time in front of the computer, okay? Obviously, this one isn't as specific, but you see, they all follow the without method. Okay, the takeaway. It's like, yes, I can make more money in the next 30 days, but that would probably require me to do all these things. And then it's like, without spending any more, really? How should I do that? Okay, how can I make more money online in the next 30 days without spending any more time in front of the computer? And finally, how to turn your website into a traffic generating machine that works for you 24 hours a day without changing any of your pages. Again, using the without, okay? And it's all about really creating this whole idea, exactly, automation. works for you, think about it, guys. That's one of the best possible things that you can figure out in all of this, is like when you promise people that something is going to work for them, when you actually figure out that something works for them, and it does so 24 hours a day without them having to do anything, it entices them, and that's what gets them to opt in. And if you have an offer that can actually deliver on that in the back, which I'm sorry, Nick, I don't have the offer that actually does that. If I did, I wouldn't be doing a webinar right now. But it actually, it can create that website into a traffic generating machine. If you're able to fulfill that promise, then all of a sudden, boom, you get all those sales conversions coming in your way. So that's a very powerful concept, okay? Now, I could go on and on and on, okay? And I think that you guys get it. You guys get the premise of what I'm trying to say here, that it's all about psychology. It's all about, looking at these things that are not at the surface, but a little bit deeper, and how people react to all these things, okay? And many others who are just like you, who actually, my coaching students particularly that I work with, they've done it, and they've been able to create all these not only high converting squeeze pages, but squeeze pages that actually generate more sales down the line. You're getting the right kind of leads into your system. You're getting buyers, okay? But let me ask you something. Does this mean that you can? Okay? And let me be clear. Probably not, okay? Probably not. And the reason for that is that, let me ask you something. If we parted ways right now, would you immediately go out and set the world on fire with your new conversion skills? Doubtful. Doubtful. Most people will tend to stay doing what was worked for them in the past. As a matter of fact, at best, okay, and this is, I feel very sad about this fact, but it's true. Only 5% of you will probably put any of this into your business at all. Okay, it's crazy because I gave you the content and then it's, you don't do it. And you know why? This is because of your beliefs. And these beliefs are what's keeping you from making the money that you deserve. That's the reality, folks. Okay, because you guys, for the most part, and I have to be honest, I went through the same process myself. I was, I didn't want to change. I didn't want to screw it up. Okay, I didn't want to screw it up at all. And I just noticed that graphic has a $100 bill at the top, and then it's all a bunch of ones that reminded me of my cousin Vinny. It's crazy. Anyway, it's making you the money that you deserve, and those beliefs are they're holding you back. Okay, they're holding you back. That's why I won't let that happen. Okay, you guys need me in your ear for the next 8 weeks. Okay. And if you're truly going to use what I showed you today, we're going to turn that into piles of cash, okay? So, best of all is that what I showed you today, I hope is pretty awesome. What do you guys think? Come on, guys, type something up. Okay, awesome, great. I wonder if you're saying awesome because the actual thing says awesome or what. Okay, but you know what? It pales in comparison to what my conversion coaching clients receive. Because once I actually do, once I actually work on this throughout everything that you do, what turns out is you make more sales, which in turn makes you more money. Okay, so I would like to introduce you guys to the Mass Conversion Academy. Okay, the Mass Conversion Academy is going to be an 8-week live coaching interactive training. Okay, this class itself is based on the actual coaching, one-on-one model that I have for my students, and it has boosted their profits more than anything that I have ever done before. Okay, week 1. We're going to go into the core desire motivators. We're going to explore the psychology of buyers. We're going to find that it factor that separates you from your competition. We're going to go deep into the ETC method, which is an awesome method for ETC stands for eliminating the competition. Okay, so the ETC method is going to blow you away. And also power positioning for maximum profit. If you're not positioning yourself properly, it's just not going to happen. You need to do this. You need to create value for them. And I'm actually going to show you how all of that is done, especially when you focus on the right emotions that you should be triggering. Week 2, the offer creation blueprint, how to find out what your market is really craving, okay? And then craft irresistible offers. Okay, guys, many people fail because they found out, but they're not able to make the compelling argument as to why their market actually needs it. Okay, so I use something I developed called the no-brainer scoring model, which is awesome because it allows you to objectively see how powerful you made that offer and if it's gonna or not convert to your market. Okay. Then the bonus core drivers. So many people start adding bonuses that have nothing to do with what they're saying. You know, you'll buy a product on something and then the bonuses have nothing to do with it. This is all about the bonus core drivers. How to look at the ancillary things that you should also be taking care of so that everything works, really, really well. Okay. And additionally, how to supercharge your affiliate sales as well as your own product sales by creating the right strategy and the right offers. Many people fail with this. That's why you see the successful marketers out there really craft offers that when you hit the end of it, there is no doubt in your head that that's, it's a deal. It's a steal at twice the price, right? And I want to cover all of that with you because when you listen to the stuff I'm going to tell you, it's going to be the kind of stuff that you just start to implement into your business and it's going to be awesome. Okay, you're going to get many, many more sales just because you're doing and following a structure instead of haphazardly, trying this thing for a couple of days and then trying that other thing for a couple of days and doing all of that. Okay. The third thing, week 3. Oh my God. Okay, week 3. Let me just get a sip of something here. Week 3, the HVA model. How to align your content with your prospect's core emotion for maximum conversions. It's a very important and critical part of the whole process that you're able to align this content with your prospect's emotions. I said it at the beginning. This is, the essence of everything that you do. And I'm also going to show you what I call the slipstream trick. Okay, it's a very powerful trick that as soon as I started implementing it, I started seeing more and more sales happening. And I was like, what the, aren't people really doing this? And I actually learned this by subscribing to about 10 or 12 different lists from the huge marketers out there, and I started to see the patterns of what they were actually sending out. And I realized that there is a very powerful trick that these guys are doing, and I want to share that with you on week 3. Okay? Again, the actual format that you should craft your messages for maximum perceived value. Okay? How to get everybody to think that whatever it is that you're telling them is actually coming from an authority rather than just from some guy or girl that's just trying to pitch you something. Okay, I'll show you how to do that. And also how to whip up your customers into a buying frenzy. And I actually did this the other day with one of my lists in another niche that I wanted to actually create like a mini launch. And what I did was I created a strategy and I ended up converting 23% of people. Okay, and these are buyers, of course, but what I'm trying to show you here is how you actually get them into that buying frenzy. And there's a strategy for that and a structure. And if you follow it, sky's the limit there. Okay, the lead conversion sequence. Okay, I want to show you the exact structure that you should use on your follow-up campaign. Okay, and how to use pattern behavior to tweak your sequence. How to actually read what's going on in your prospects' minds. Okay, also how to identify your hyper-responsive customers. Let me be clear, guys. I've used this, this term many times over. But the fact is, hyper-responsive customers are really what's going to drive your business, okay? Because these are the people who can't stop themselves from buying stuff, okay? Especially if you're able to align them in the HVA model properly, you'll be able to target these guys over and over and over, and you'll be making sales all the time. And additionally, how you can anchor your prospects into your value structure so that they start to not only believe what you're saying to them and the message and all the content, but they're also accustomed to the format. So if you hit them every couple of days with an email, or if you hit them every week or so, or if you hit them every day, which I seriously don't recommend, but how you can anchor them into that value structure, and now they know what's coming their way, and how to actually create anticipation for what's coming next. Okay? Week 5, we're going to go ahead and cover the true value superchargers. Okay, I want to show you how to create powerful content really, really fast. Okay, I have a formula which I call the DCC formula for content creation, and you guys are going to enjoy it. Okay, this is going to help you guys out considerably, and it's all about repurposing content and doing it in such a way where it's your own content. But I don't want to get ahead of myself, but you guys, I mean, when you guys see the whole prospect and the whole idea, it's going to blow you away. And this will keep your focus laser targeted on the right customer's needs. Okay, and it will reduce your content creation time process by at least 50%. Finally, and this is something that I just tested the other day with Facebook and Twitter. I actually did it on Twitter a couple months ago, and it did well, but it didn't do as hot as it did on Facebook when I did it 2 weeks ago. Is actually how to viralize your content. And I'll show you the things that you can inject into anything, even if it's something that you already wrote. I'll show you how to actually viralize that content and add some stuff to it so that people want to share it. And it's simpler than you may think, but it's so powerful. Okay. Week 6, we're going to talk about the sales multiplier system. Okay. How to get your prospects to buy more from you. Okay. We're going to go into the MTMF breakthrough strategy, which actually shows you how to get more people involved and how to separate your buyers into tiers and how to approach them in different formats and different ways so that you actually get them to convert. Okay. Then it's the 5-tier model to making more sales. Okay. I don't want to get into that one, but that is a very powerful secret. That one in itself, I actually learned from a coach that I had to pay $15,000 to learn that model. Okay. And finally, the IDF recipe. Okay, what else should you be selling to your people? How can you listen to your market and figure out what it is that they need the most? Okay, and how you can actually approach them with that. Finally, okay, on week 7, sorry, we're still a week away. Week 7 is going to be the Ninja Traffic Source Blueprint. Okay, how to find where your leads are in any niche. And guys, if right now you got the fundamentals of list building, and chances are, if you're doing this kind of stuff, same as I did, you're probably sticking to the make money online or BizOp or that kind of niche, depending on how you do it. But what you can realize is that there are many other niches out there that have no competition. It just blows me away. No competition at all. Okay, and how you can hijack your way into their attention range. Okay. I want to show you how to dominate paid traffic with the 3-level strategy that I created, and how to find those hyper-responsive customers within those traffic sources. Because again, if you find a traffic source that delivers hyper-responsive customers, you're going to be making more sales. Okay, and of course, and this goes without question, I want to show you the metrics that you should be looking at, because many people don't know what to look for. Okay, and once you find the proper metrics, then I want to show you how you scale that up so you can actually hit that 6-figure number. Okay, because remember, it's all about looking at the right number and then controlling that number as you scale. So you get more and more traffic coming in, and you're monitoring that one number that shows you if it's really working or if it's stopped. And if it's stopped, you can stop the traffic, but if it really scales up and the metric remains the same, you're just making more and more money. Okay, finally, automating the machine. Okay, I can show you how to create the linear 6 model for automation. What you guys are going to be able to do is create a stackable follow-up sequence that'll allow you or any prospect to come into your list, and they will be put into a follow-up sequence that just keeps running and running and running, so that you can actually have 4 or 5 months of follow-up sequence already put in there. And I'll also show you what the metrics are so you can keep optimizing those follow-up sequences on a regular basis. Okay? Now, the Mass Conversion Academy will be 8 sessions that will be recorded. They will be transcribed. And by the way, someone asked me if this is being recorded. Yes, it is being recorded, and I will send out a replay just for today, because again, what I'm showing you today is only valid for today. Okay, this is the Black Friday deal. Okay, I didn't start you guys off at 6 a.m., but it is the Black Friday deal. So each of the 8 sessions will be recorded, transcribed, available in video, audio, and PDF, so you guys can get it into any format that you need, and you can listen to it as you're driving to work or something else. But it'll be a powerful, number of sessions that we're going to do. Now, you're going to get access to the members area for life. So if you want to log in like 2,615 days from now to get something, you can. So it's always there for you as reference, and you can just keep coming back to it. Okay? The first class starts Wednesday, December 4th at 2 p.m. EST. Each session is spaced 1 week apart. And if you can make it live, that's great. But if you can't make it live, that's also great because you know the recordings are going to be there. And I'm also going to send you an email every time that, reminding you of the class and then reminding you that here you can get the recording and just go in and watch the video. Okay? Now, obviously at this point you're asking how much, because I would be asking myself that as well. And let me be clear, okay? A $19.97 price tag would be well worth this, okay? And actually there's a well-known guru right now currently launching something that has some of these things, or at least that's what the sales page sort of tells me, for more than $3,000, okay? But I don't want you to pay that. As a matter of fact, at $9.97, it is an absolute steal just to get the 8-week training. Most of my coaching students already know that my time is worth a hell of a lot more than that. And I usually sign in coaching students at around the $5,000 to $10,000 range to work one-on-one with them, okay? And let me ask you this. Do you realize that just a 1% increase in conversions would more than cover the tuition? I mean, absolutely. It makes all the sense in the world, okay? But more than that, today, because it's Black Friday, I'm going to share this with you at half the price. So it's going to be one payment of $497. That's it, okay? And because it's Black Friday, let me show you how we're going to make that $497 seem like a mere pittance of an investment. Okay, here come the bonuses. Okay, I'm going to offer you something that's, fantastic. These are some of the most ridiculous and valuable bonuses that I've ever put together. And I was actually considering whether I should do this or not because there's so many people on the webinar right now. And, but there is a catch. Okay, and I'm going to explain that in a second. So the first thing I want to show you is the first bonus, the Hyper Affiliate Advantage Strategy. This is an actual training program that shows you how to double your conversions on affiliate products. You can boost your EPCs and you can get on those leaderboards a lot faster if you follow this strategy, okay? How to get your prospects fired up about an upcoming launch and how to do it by using the proper bonus strategy. This, training in itself, I sell for $497. So today you guys are going to get that as a bonus if you guys sign up to the Mass Conversion Academy. Bonus number 2. Plugin Jacker, okay? This sneaky list building technology allows you to grow your list by giving people plugins. What the plugin does is it actually locks this plugin, actually you upload a plugin into this plugin, and I know it doesn't make that much sense. I hope I would have done a demo video for it, but it's simple. You install this plugin into your WordPress. Then you grab any plugin that you find out there, any PLR plugin or any open source plugin or whatever you find, and you upload it into this, and you put your autoresponder code, and you download it back again. And what happens is when you give it away, and you can send it to all your subscribers, and you can actually put it in any giveaway events or anything else that you do for list building, what ends up happening is when people are activating this plugin within their WordPress, okay, when they activate that plugin that you gave them, which is not the plugin jacker, but the locked plugin that the plugin jacker created, they need to put in their email information to actually activate the plugin. And what this does is it captures people at the right moment, okay? And once these people put their emails in, boom, you're building your list, and it doesn't matter to you whether this thing gets shared to everybody, and you can actually place it on free sites and all this stuff because all you're trying to do is list build, okay? This plugin jacker technology, I'm actually releasing this on January. I'm launching this on January 2014, but the plugin's actually ready. So today I wanted to share something that was truly, truly compelling with you guys, so it would make sense to get it right now. Number 3, the 6-figure rockstar list building method, okay? This is a method that I actually developed to show you with monetization strategies how you can actually improve your game exponentially, okay? And how to use the list multiplication method, which I know some of you guys already heard me the other day on my private mastermind talk about, how you can use this list multiplication method to make a lot more money by using these strategies. And it's a very compelling training program. This one retails for $197, and it's a very, very powerful method, okay? Number 4, the Magnetic Product Creation Live Webinar. Yes, people hate to think about how they create products, but here's the reality, folks. If you're not creating products or you're selling someone else's products, I mean, you should know how to do it. Okay? You should know that sometimes you won't be able to find the product that meets your customers' needs, and you need to create it yourself. So I want to take you from conception to cash. I want to show you how to find the hot button issues for your prospects and how to find and tweak what isn't working, and more importantly, and this is the big one, how to boost your conversions with a simple question. And it's amazing the power that this question itself has. Okay? Finally, the fifth bonus is that we're going to have a 30-minute one-on-one call where we're going to build up the strategy for your business, and we're going to focus on the best strategies that get you results. Okay? I don't want to be, beating around the bush and just talking, like whatever. This is about getting you results. And that's why I'm adding this strategy call, so we can actually make a blueprint of what you're going to do throughout all these weeks so that you actually do them. Okay, I want you to get those results. I don't want anyone here that doesn't really, believe in action. Okay, I need people who believe in action, because these are the people who make the most sense. Now, I mean, this is an incredible package as it is, isn't it? There's the Hyper Affiliate Advantage Strategy, the Plugin Jacker, the 6-Figure Rockstar List Building Course, and the Magnetic Product Creation Live Webinar, as well as the Strategy Call one-on-one. Oh yeah, here it is. The big bonus. Okay, guys? This thing is called Epic Survey. And what it allows you to do is to create a list segmentation page. Okay? Imagine the power of sending people into sending traffic, and then you ask them some questions and you score them based on their answers. Not only that, okay, but depending on the score that they get, you can put them into different lists, because now you know where they are. Look at, for example, the screenshot that I put in here. How much time have you invested trying to make money online, make a living online? Okay, none, just started today. Okay, less than 30 days, 30, 90 days, over 90 days. Just in that question, don't you agree that you would be able to see, you'll be able to treat those customers differently? Because if it's a person that just started today, then you can, start to talk to them about the basics and everything else. As the numbers go, higher, I guess, or as the options go lower in the screenshot, those people have more and more frustration, which means that if you get the people who are over 90 days trying to make a full-time living online, that means that those people you can target differently from the people who just signed in. This can give you major insights. This can totally catapult your business into a new level. Okay, this is a secret technique that I've been using for a while and that I'm now finally ready to share with others. Okay, but I'm only going to do it today because this is something that I'm going to actually be launching in 2014. Okay, but here's the bad news. Not everyone's going to get all the bonuses. They are reserved for only the fast action takers, because fast action takers actually follow through. It's amazing. Okay, sometimes people, they'll buy the product and they won't do anything with it. I actually had a customer who paid me $8,000 for coaching and then never contacted me. It's nuts, okay? And I'm looking for people who actually want to do this, because not only do I want to, help you guys, that's what this is all about. I want to show you how the business can be better if you just focus on the right things, okay? And I want to give you all these tools, but you need to act fast. So here's how it's going to roll. The first 10 buyers will get everything that I've just explained, okay? And there's the link that you can see right there, which is massconversionacademy.com/BF. BF stands for Black Friday, okay? This presentation is only being done today. So guys, go in. That link is only available for the next couple of hours. So go in right now and get them. Because what happens is, if you wait, numbers 11 through 50 will only get the Hyper Affiliate Advantage Strategy, the Plugin Jacker, and the Strategy Call. Okay? But you're missing out on many things already, including the Epic Survey, which I know that you guys are craving. Okay? The next one, after 50 sales, this will just go, and the only benefit that you'll get, it will be the Hyper Affiliate Advantage Strategy. Of course, the training in itself is very powerful, but when you get to the to this level, what you're really focusing on is getting those bonuses, guys. So get in on it quick. As a matter of fact, get in on it quick and start posting in the chat box right now that you got it, so I know how many people are actually getting into it, okay? I see that Jeff is already, Jeff, did you sign? Oh, thank you so much, Jeff. Oh, man, awesome. Awesome. Jeff and Tony are already in. Okay, guys, you can't wait on this one, okay? You can't wait on this one. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you 2 guarantees on this, okay? The first one, the 30-day guarantee. Okay, no questions asked. For any reason or none at all, just, get back to me and I'll send you every penny back, okay? But I guarantee you guys are going to enjoy all of this content. And the 60-day guarantee is, listen, create a full campaign strategy for your niche. And if you don't make twice your money, okay, I'll give you twice your money back. How's that for cool? Okay, guys, I see that Ann already jumped in. Stuart, who else is here? Ian, okay, and John Paul. Awesome, guys, awesome. Okay, thank you guys so much for this. And I hope that, this makes sense to you guys, because the fact is, focusing on your conversions and focusing on everything that you can actually achieve online nowadays is really what's going to boost you to the next level, okay? And I hope that you guys take advantage of this, because, again, I'm not going to be releasing this anywhere else. I'm not going to be releasing any of those technologies until next year, okay? So please, guys, sign up now. I already see that Dan signed up and Casey signed up as well. So, guys, get in on it really quickly. This is going to be an awesome, awesome experience for you guys, okay? So on that note, I'd like to leave you guys, and I hope that I delivered enough value for you today. If you can leave me some comments on the webinar, I'd really appreciate it, because I've been speaking for so long right now without a zip that it just hurts my throat right now. Okay, guys, excellent, excellent. So good to see so many positive comments come in. So on that note, I think I'm going to close it off. Please remember, and let me just type it here. I'm just going to type in BF. Okay, guys, I just sent you the link as well, so you guys can actually click on that one, and it'll work for you. So, guys, now's the time. Get in on this really quick, because I'm not going to hold this package at this price, past the next couple of hours, and you really want to get in on this really quickly. Okay, I think there's like 2 or 3 slots left for the first 10 people, and this changes at any time. These are just the people who wrote me. I haven't even checked my PayPal yet. So go in, sign up, and we'll get everything squared away, and we'll get started on Wednesday, December the 4th, guys. So thank you guys so much for attending, and I hope to see you on the next webinar. Bye-bye, guys.